Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm just working some things out over here on the technological side before I sit down and make my way to my mat. Also, it's a little chilly in here, and I haven't entirely decided what to wear for today's class because I like to be a little warm while teaching yin. Do, 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 do. And I recommend that you dress slightly warmly as well. Oh my gosh. And it won't show you how much trouble I'm having getting this initial shirt on. But let's just say I'm proud of myself and I did it. All right. Today's class is all about lots of openers for the chest, shoulders, upper back. I'm pretty sure, as I recall correctly, that we did a lot of other chest openers last week. Um, when we were doing the class related to allergies. Different stuff coming to you this week, though, for sure. Wearing my favorite sweatshirt of right now, my taco sweatshirt. And then, like a winner, I'm going to tuck my shirt into my pants so that I can enjoy free movement down on the mat. I encourage you to have water nearby, even though we will not have any specific water breaks. And if it helps you to stay relaxed and find stillness, if you have some music playing, absolutely go ahead and turn some music on. I'm going to make my way down to the mat and come into a comfortable seated position. Hello, Uncle Buck. And I do believe we have at least one more minute before we get started, which is great because I realized I forgot to write notes to myself about how long each of these stretches and movements should be. So you do you for a minute. I'm going to just hang out right here with Uncle Buck making this happen. Perfect. Yay. Thanks for your patience, everybody. All right, so we're starting off right here uh, in Sukhasana in a comfortable, easy seated position of your choice. When you get here, spend about the first minute just noticing how your body feels today. So, taking a quick scan from the top of your head all the way to your toes. Notice if anything feels uncomfortable. As you really start to come into your breath, it makes it a little easier, I think, to notice where you might be kind of muscling through something. I always think it's so interesting when I lay down in bed and I'm like, I'm so relaxed. And then, you scan yourself from head to toe and you might notice that you're laying in bed and everything's all crunched up. And you can like melt into your mattress a little bit more. So I want you to do your best to melt into this seated position. Join us, Uncle Buck. Join us in stillness. taking this time to slow your breath down to start to really clear your mind. So, whatever else you have going on today, this weekend, this full week, this month, this year, next year, anything that is stressing you out, put it to the side for right now. Like to think about my breath as being a cat's arm. Inhale, here comes the cat's arm. Exhale, sweeping all of life's drama and BS and things we don't need to the side. So really just focusing right now on your breath, on your movement slash stillness, being as present as possible with the here and now. Because I promise you, everything else is it's still gonna be there when we finish this class. But you're gonna feel so much better if you take this time to really relax and focus on yourself. Let's give ourselves some gentle little neck rolls here. So tucking your chin down to your chest, then rolling your neck to one side and then the other. Feel free to go whatever pace works for you. Maybe you even decide you want to have one hand on the floor to feel a little bit more supported. Maybe you bring another hand to your neck to give yourself a little bit of massage. So we're starting, oh my gosh, Uncle Buddy. We're starting with the option for some gentle movement. Sometimes I like to bring a little yang to my yin, and you're just helping yourself to ease whatever tension you showed up on your mat with. Go ahead, take the time, find one more neck roll to each side. And then when you finish, tuck your chin to your chest. Go ahead, bring your hands to your knees. Take a lift through your chest sternum. Find a little extra length through your spine, and then start to walk your hands forward. Sorry, little doggy. Keeping your sit bones flat on the floor. You can stay right here with those sit bones flat, with your chest still lifted, with that really long length in your spine, especially if you're having any pain or discomfort in that low back. I recommend that you stay lifted. Otherwise, perhaps you gently round yourself forward. I love you, dog. All right, carefully walk your hands to one side as much as possible. Whichever side you walked your hands to, intentionally take a little extra pressure through the opposite side sit bone. And then you might even want to draw that opposite side sit bone shoulder forward to bring a little extra love into that side of the body, that upper back, neck, shoulder area. Remember, throughout today's class, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So if you find yourself distracted and looking around the room, either find that one spot to take a soft, uh, unfocused gaze, or simply close your eyes. Let's walk our hands to the opposite side. So now your hands are on the opposite side. You're applying a little extra grounding through the sit bone that your fingers are not reaching towards. An option to draw whichever shoulder you have closer towards the front of the room, more towards the opposite side. Really enhance that stretch. Just as much as feels good for you. Today we're, as usual, working to create noticeable stretches. So class should feel a little uncomfortable. And that's half of why this yoga is so amazing, because we are intentionally putting ourselves in a somewhat uncomfortable situation. And from there, we're relaxing as much as we can. If that's not the most quote unquote, this is fine cartoon analogy, I don't even know what is. This is fine. All right, let's take our time, walk ourselves back through center. If you brought your hands forward, walk yourself back in. Go ahead, kick one leg out. I'm going to keep my left leg folded in and send that right leg out to the side for a little half dragonfly. And then same option you had just a moment ago. You can hinge forward at the hips. You can stay nice and lifted. Maybe you're even feeling so tight you need to bring your hands behind you. If you're not feeling any sort of a stretch at your inner thigh and the hamstring, think about flexing your toes gently towards your face, but this is yin. So you don't have to bring that extra active stretch uh, to your extended leg. You can allow those toes to fall gently away from you. We've got a little bit over a minute left right here. So remember, you're working to find that noticeable stretch. And that might mean something different every day for every person and for each side of your body. So thank yourself for showing up to class today. Showing up is enough. Even if you found, I cannot do that, and you laid down on your back in Savasana the whole time and you just tuned into your amazing breath and you worked to clear your mind, you're going to get something out of this practice. It's not all or nothing. It's what can you do with your amazing body and mind today? And whatever it is that you bring, as long as you know that you did your best, it is enough. So before you do lay down and just relax into the Savasana, I encourage you to ask yourself, what can I do? Can I just sit up? Can I just take a gentle reach? If you are hinged forward, start to lift yourself up, walk your hands in. We're going to switch our legs. Sorry, Uncle Buddy. Excuse me. All right, folding that other leg in. You're meeting your dog in the middle. All right, there we go. Now everyone's happy. Whew. We got another 2 minutes right here. How does this side feel compared to the other side? Without judgment of yourself, just take notice. Personally, I think that this side feels a little bit tighter. That's okay. Still going to bring the same focus and breath to feeling good. Once again, if you found a forward hinge, we're going to carefully lift ourselves up. Let's fold that extended leg in and make our way in to tabletop. Excuse me, my love dog. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hi. I'm sorry. I love you. All right, making your way into tabletop. We got about 1 minute of cat cow right here. So just find what feels good for you. I can't even remember the last time Uncle Buck was being this needy during class. It's so fascinating to me that during a HIIT class, he wants nothing to do with us. But during yoga, I think he's like, Mom, are you okay? Are you okay? Is everything okay over there? I noticed you're just laying on the floor. Are you still alive? You're being very still. And that's how I know we're doing it right. All right. Next up, open your knees a little bit wider. Send your glutes back towards your heels. We're going to go for some child's pose. We're not going to just do child's pose, though. We're going to add in a little threading the needle. So relax your head down towards the mat as much as you want. And if you don't want to put your head all the way down on the mat, you can use that block if you brought it with you. I know, especially during allergy season. While I love bringing my head below heart level, sometimes having the head all the way down towards the floor really just sends a little too much to my sinuses. All right, so from here, we're going to thread the needle. So go ahead, keep one hand extended forward, bring the opposite hand in, turn your palm to face up towards the ceiling. Take that gentle weave through. You can still keep your head on the block, or perhaps you bring your head down towards the floor. And I want you to notice the position that your arm is in right here, the one that you just thread under your body, because we're going to come into a similar position a little bit later when we go for a half bow tie. And this is the same stretch that we're going to do from half bow tie. So right now, while we're still warming our bodies up, we're keeping a nice gentle lift. Our bellies are on our thighs, our hips are lifted while we're in this child's pose, and nice stretch for the low back. A little bit later, we're going to have our legs extended behind us. So it's going to be a bit more pressure on the shoulder. Breathe into just relaxing. You got 1 minute to go right here. Really start to take notice on your inhale of the expansion that you can create on the back side of the body, in that upper back. Each breath creating a little bit more space and stretch between your ribs. So you don't need to change your posture at all, but you can work to make your breath a little bit deeper and more relaxed. Take your time. Let's unthread the needle, both arms extended forward in your child's pose again. If you need to, you can always take a generous bend of your elbows, because we're going to move towards, in just a minute, doing the same stretch on the opposite side. All right, if you brought your arms in and it feels accessible, walk your other hand out, turn the palm over that has not weaved yet, and find that little thread the needle here in child's pose. 2 more minutes left right here. Such a great long time to get this stretching your low back from child's pose. Also, there's a strong possibility that you're creating a little bit of a tourniquet effect in the lower half of your body while we're in this child's pose. So keep that breath slow and steady. But I encourage you when we come out of it in just about one more minute to really tune into the sensation of blood flowing a little more freely through the lower half of your body. So right now, big time stretch through the shoulders, through the upper back. And a good time, as I notice it's happening for me, to remind you that it's normal if you feel any shaking or trembling. All of those involuntary little movements and muscle contractions are normal. They're awesome. So enjoy them. Also, no worries if you haven't felt any of that shaking or trembling yet. I assure you, the longer that you sit in your stillness and create the noticeable stretches, you will. But don't feel like, whoa, 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 I need to make a change because we're supposed to be creating stillness and my arm is shaking right here. We are avoiding intentional movement. So we're taking out any sort of fidgeting that you might do when you're uncomfortable, which again is such a great practice. That is so much how this yoga translates into the office. So the next time you're in an uncomfortable conversation or meeting, you can be cool and collected as a cucumber. Let's carefully unbind that opposite extended arm. We're going to make our way all the way down onto our mats. Give yourself a little pillowcase with your hands to get started. Ooh, as you bring your belly down towards the mat. Place your forehead on that pillow that you made and then just windshield wipe your legs in opposite directions. Starting to relieve any bits of tension that you built up in your lower back. Release your legs back down towards the floor. Go ahead, extend your arm out to the side. Pick whichever one you want to get started with. I'm going to extend my right arm out to the side, palm facing down towards the floor, right hand just about in line with that right shoulder. Left hand comes close to the chest, and I'm going to roll over onto the right hip. And you can keep your hand here at your chest to support you. You can keep your legs straight. You can bend your legs, which might be a little bit more comfortable. You can increase the stretch by bringing your top leg behind you. You can increase the stretch in your chest by walking your opposite hand fingers away as we hang out here in broken wing. Find something that you can stick with for a little bit over 2 minutes from right now. And remember, if at any point the stretch goes from being noticeable, uncomfortable, to really being painful, and you need to find a way to gently ease out and regroup yourself, that's totally cool. Do that. Honor the way that your body feels today and be mindful. And remember, you don't have to do the same thing on both sides. Find a spot, relax your eyes, come back to your breath. So with this one, you might notice we're also cutting a little bit of circulation off to whichever arm you have extended behind you. And the reasoning or idea behind that comes up in a lot of different yoga postures, that creating that tourniquet effect and temporarily slowing down or even stopping the blood flow, that when it does return again, that it's intended to help to really flush out toxins, maybe any built up lactic acid. It also is intended to help just create some more connections, send a little bit more lymph through for healing. Take your time carefully. Come out opposite the way you went in. So if you brought that top leg behind you, bring your legs back together. Maybe extend both legs out. You can bring your hand back in for support as you carefully roll over. And then let's come into the same stretch on the opposite side. So extend your hand in line with your shoulder. Bring your opposite hand in to help you roll over to your hip. And remember, both sides are not the same. So do what feels right on this side of your body. Ooh, I am not feeling as open on this side. So I'm gonna even bring a block in. And I'm gonna kind of hug into my block. Gonna keep my legs together. Slight little stagger down on the floor. We got a little bit more than 2 minutes to go right here. So just make sure that you still have a noticeable stretch. One minute left right here, I think. That's what we're going to go for. We're going to go with this one more minute right here. All right, if you opened your legs in any way, start to bring your legs back together. If you walked your opposite hand out, bring it back in close to your chest for some support. And then let's carefully roll over onto our bellies once more. From here, we're going to bring our elbows underneath of our armpits or close to the chest for a little bit of Sphinx Pose. And if you want, you can keep your feet together. I think it's a little bit more relaxing to open those feet a little bit wider. If this is too much pressure in your mid or lower back, you can open your arms a little bit wider. Maybe just having that chest closer towards the floor. And if you want, you can tuck your chin to your chest. I like these arms a little bit wider. Still focusing on a nice little stretch into that low back, a little less pressure into the shoulders though, because we got one more shoulder stretch Let me look at my notes before I say just one more. Yep. One more shoulder stretch coming up. We're going to come back to that thread the needle like we did. But for now, I want you to think about creating a little extra space, a little extra length in your neck. So wherever you are, whether your arms are down on the floor and a little bit wider, or if you are a little bit more lifted, instead of allowing shoulders and ears to collapse towards each other, seat those shoulder blades around your spine the best that you can. 1 minute left right here. Cool. So next we're going to find that bow tie stretch. So you're going to weave one hand underneath. And I have the top of my chest starting to rest upon that lower hand. Legs are extended behind you. Maybe you bring a block to the party. And you can still have the opposite hand reaching forward, or maybe you have that opposite hand in for a little bit of support. We're going to spend, oh my gosh, a total of 2 minutes right here in this half bow tie. So while you're getting this big, deep stretch through your shoulders, through that upper back a little bit, I want you to relax your feet, relax your glutes, and relax your low back the best that you can. If you don't have a block, as I do, and you're like struggling here, you can make a little like fist, or maybe giving yourself a thumbs up and just resting your head on your thumb. So there's a little bit less pressure if that's what you need in the shoulder stretch. You got 30 seconds left to go though. I have the utmost faith that no matter what, you're doing your best and you're creating stillness as you can. All right, let's use our other hand, bring it back in. I have it just above my bow tied arm to help me lift up. So a little half seal almost. And then I'm just going to come right into the opposite side. Bring my timer over here and we're going to do our best to relax. And I want to recognize that, man, there is like nothing worse than when you are totally stressing or in a really uncomfortable position or situation, and someone's like, hey, just relax. When I was doing my yoga teacher training, there was one lady that her go-to when she forgot the dialogue, she'd just say, relax, relax, relax. And I swear to God, every time she said relax, each relax was like more nails on a chalkboard. And with that being said, relax, everybody. But truly just check in, take out any extra squeezes away from the lower half of the body. And I hope that if this posture was really difficult for you, that you did find a way to make it work, maybe placing an extra pillow underneath of your belly so that your lower body is a little bit more lifted would help to apply less pressure into your upper arm. Take your last two breaths here in your half bow tie. And then we're just going to roll over onto our back. So carefully roll over onto your back. I'm going off my script. We're changing things up. We got a little more than 10 minutes to go. Let's take a quick pass through of a Savasana. So go ahead, kick your feet out. Bring your heels together to touch. So feet are nice and close, arms are relaxed right by your side, palm facing up to the ceiling. Back of your head is as relaxed as possible into the mat. Once again, eyes are closed or finding one spot on the ceiling to focus your eyes. We're going to take 5 slow breaths here. I know I breathe slower than slow, so as I finish up this second breath, I presume most people are somewhere close to finishing up 5 breaths. Go ahead, turn your toes to face up towards the ceiling so your legs are still close. Your heels are in line with your hip bones. Keep your left foot where it is. Bring that right foot up. Bring your knee all the way out towards the side and then interlace all 10 fingers. Make sure there's no tenting of your hands. So nice flat hands pressed on top of your shin and then draw that leg back in. So we were just taking a moment to avoid the rib cage just a little bit. Bring that left shoulder back down towards the mat. If your left calf muscle is not touching the floor, take a slight flex of those toes towards your face. Start to pull on your right shin, but as you're pulling on that right shin, to bring it closer towards your shoulder, press your lower back into the floor and apply a little bit of pressure of pushing your shin into your hands palms. So nice equal and opposite contraction. Nothing's really moving. You might even feel a pinching compression sensation in the lower right abdomen. That's your ascending colon. Maybe you just feel a little pinching compression sensation in the lower right hip. That's your lower right hip. I know. So funny, aren't I? Take one more big deep inhale. And on your exhale, send that right leg out. Really be mindful as it goes out of that right heel being straight underneath of that right hip. And we're going to draw the left leg up. Pull it out away from your rib cage. Interlace all 10 fingers on top of your shin. Relax those fingers, so no tenting, and then roll your right shoulder back towards the mat. So just rolling that right shoulder back towards the mat starts to apply a little bit more pressure in your lower left abdomen. This time you might feel a pinching compression sensation there while you pull on your shin and press your shin into your hands palms. So there's so much isometric contraction here. Your biceps might even be trembling. And if you feel that pinching compression sensation in the lower left abdomen, that is your descending colon. Let's take 2 to 3 more of whatever your length breaths are right here. And when you're finished with your last exhale, we're going to go ahead and send the left leg back out. So taking another moment, passing through a quick Savasana, we're going to draw our knees up. Do your best to keep that lower back on the mat. So maybe you draw your knees up one at a time and your feet are relaxed side by side. Can you squeeze your thighs in towards each other so that we're once again getting a little bit of pressure in that lower abdomen? Feet are still relaxed side by side. Knees start to draw in towards your chest, but not so much that your lower back lifts up off of the mat. Press the back of your head down into the mat as well. Maybe giving yourself a little double, triple chin here. We're just passing through some wind removing pose here to create a little extra space to help encourage illumination and digestion. So first we work the ascending, then the descending, and now the transverse colon. And always do your best to start right, left, and then both, because moving in the opposite direction can sometimes keep things from moving in the direction that we intend to. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. Really relax through the upper body as much as you can. So notice if you were starting to round your shoulders off of the mat, really press the outer edges of those shoulders and shoulder blades down. Keep that lower back glued down. And on your next exhale, release your feet to the floor. No flinging. So use those abs just a little bit to release the soles of the feet down towards the mat. Open your arms nice and wide. Ooh, take a little gentle windshield wipe in each direction. And then carefully let your legs fall over to one side. Inhale, bring it back through center. Exhale, allow legs to carefully fall to the opposite side. Just a mini semi-spine twist. Inhale back up through center. Open those knees nice and wide. Soles of the feet come towards each other. And on your next exhale, kick through your heels, straighten those legs out once again. You can relax your arms down by your side or keep them out wide. We're coming into Savasana, or final Savasana, final posture of the day. One last time to really create stillness. Pardon me. Start your last series of total body scans, really starting from the hair follicle all the way down to the end of your toenails. And ask yourself, where can you just melt into your mat a little bit more? How can you use your breath to ease your physical or mental tension to feel a little bit more open, light, and even self-love? Can you take this time in your final Sukhasana to think about one thing that you're proud of? Maybe something that feels better after today's practice. So maybe your heart feels open or lighter. Maybe you truly notice that your tension is relieved. Maybe you're proud of yourself for simply making this time. You're welcome to stay here in this final Savasana for as long as honors you and your body and mind today. However, if you'd like to close out practice together, I encourage you to take your time and make your way to a seated position. Maybe give yourself a little wiggle of your fingers and toes. Start to bring the blood flow back to your extremities before you get moving, and truly take your time. Don't rush to come into that seated position. So maybe a little extra stretch here or there. All right. Hopefully you're in that seated position or finishing up any movement if you're joining me here. Let's inhale our arms up overhead. Bring your hands, palms together. Oh, that was a great extra last little stretch of the shoulders. And thumbs come on down to touch on your chest, sternum in Namaskar or Anjali Mudra. Go ahead, tuck your chin to your chest. Take a moment to once again reflect back on whatever it was that you thought of that you were proud of yourself for, or maybe something else comes to your mind right now, and that's okay, because I just want you to know that I think you're amazing, and I'm so thankful that you came and you joined me for today's practice. If you have any questions or concerns about anything I said or we did, reach out. Till we are together again, think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds, take time to nourish yourself from the inside out. If it feels right, bring your thumb up to your third eye, your drishti, ground through your sit bones, lift your heart up towards the sun, and know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.